All right. Welcome to the Drunken Zombies Podcast, folks.
Yeah.
It's time for your daily dose of suspense, horror, all that good stuff.
A little twisted fun,
A
too.
little twisted fun, never hurt anybody. We're going deep into a new scenario today. Pretty terrifying one, if you ask me.
Definitely chilling.
And joining me, as always, is Julia, our resident expert on all things undead.
Hey, everyone. Glad to be back. I love taking apart these stories, seeing what makes them tick, especially when they throw in some tech twists like today.
Right, like what happens when zombies go digital.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to be looking at.
Exactly. And separating the fact from the folklore, as always.
Now, before we jump in, don't forget to rate and follow the Drunken Zombies podcast wherever you get your podcasts. It helps us keep the lights on.
And the zombies out.
And the zombies out, exactly.
Ah.
So today we're heading to a future that's not so bright. A metropolis completely swallowed by synthetic light, where everyone's got neural implants and the dead aren't just walking around anymore. They're
evolving, yeah.
evolving. That's one way to put it.
Forget those slow, groaning hordes you might be used to.
Right.
We're talking something way more sophisticated, something that blends flesh and technology in a way that'll really get under your skin.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up.
Our story begins with Zara Glitch Kovac,
Zara.
right?
Yeah.
She's a product of this world. Platinum blonde dreadlocks, a bit of an attitude.
Yeah, she sounds like a real character.
Oh, she is.
And her moral compass, let's just say it points straight towards profit.
Maximum profit.
Maximum profit, right?
She lives and breathes the digital black market, dealing in all sorts of illicit data, software, anything you can imagine.
I can only imagine.
And then this rogue virus starts making the rounds.
Oh, this is where things get interesting.
Now, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Zara isn't some kind of digital Robin Hood.
Right.
She's not trying to save the world or anything.
No.
She's interested in this virus for one reason.
Okay, what's that?
Self-preservation. This widespread infection could really mess things up for her little operation.
How so?
Well, think about it.
Yeah.
Less data to exploit, fewer backdoor deals. It's bad for business.
Oh, I see. It's all about the bottom line for her.
Exactly.
So she's drawn into the physical world, and this is where we meet the stacks.
Oh, yeah, the stacks, those massive vertical slums forgotten by the city above.
Just crumbling under the weight of all that synthetic light.
Exactly, and that's where Zara finds herself in a ransacked apartment about to get a very nasty surprise.
Yeah, this is where the techno-zombie nightmare really starts to take shape.
Oh, it gets pretty gruesome.
So what are we talking about here? What does this new breed of zombie look like?
Imagine a corpse, but not just any corpse.
Yeah.
This one's been corrupted, twisted by technology.
Okay, go on. You're freaking me out a little.
Instead of empty eyes, it's got these glassy green spheres glowing with an internal light.
Oh, that's creepy.
Almost like they're radioactive or something. And then there are these thick black wires, like the kind you see in industrial machinery. They're sticking out of holes drilled into the skull.
No way. This is straight out of a cyberpunk horror film.
And the movement,
Yeah.
it's not the slow, shuffling gait you'd expect.
Right.
This thing's movements are jerky, unpredictable, like it's being controlled by faulty wiring.
So not your typical zombie at all.
Nope, this is a whole new level of terrifying.
Right, and then this kid walks in.
Hiro, yeah.
Yeah, Hiro, he's just a kid.
Caught between fear and fascination.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And Zara, always practical,
Oh, yeah.
she snaps him out of it, gives him a pretty harsh lesson in survival.
So she's not exactly the motherly type.
Not even close.
What does she tell him?
It basically tells him to adapt or die.
Harsh, but probably true in that world.
Oh, absolutely.
This virus, it's not something you just walk away from.
It's like she's saying the world's changed and you gotta change with it or become a casualty.
Like a dog-eat-dog world out there, especially when the dogs are techno-zombies.
Haha, you could say that.
So Hiro, he seems to get the message.
Yeah, he manages to stutter out his name and then he does something pretty smart.
Okay.
He offers Zara a way out, a network of smuggler tunnels that run beneath the stacks.
Oh, so he knows the area pretty well.
He seems to, it's like this hidden world under the city.
The underbelly, right?
Yeah, and for Zara, who's used to the digital underground, this physical one probably seems pretty familiar.
I bet. So they go down into these tunnels, and the atmosphere, I'm guessing it's not exactly pleasant.
Oh, it's all...
What's it like down there?
Imagine the stench of sweat,
Okay, ew.
chemical runoff, and then that sickly sweet smell of decay.
Yeah, that's the zombie signature scent, isn't it?
Pretty much, and down here, it's amplified, suffocating.
So not just the visuals, the smells are horrifying too.
Oh, yeah, it's a full sensory assault down there, and then there are the sounds.
Yeah, the sounds, what are they hearing?
Faint groaning echoing through the darkness, the scraping of claws on concrete.
Oh, that's just creepy.
It's like they're being stalked by something they can't even see.
And they're probably not alone down there.
Definitely not.
So Zara's leading the way.
Yeah, but not just physically.
Okay, what do you mean?
She's got this piece of tech, a deck they call it, plugged into her temple.
A deck. So this is like a direct line to her brain.
It's a neural interface, yeah.
Wow, that's some serious tech.
It is, and even though it looks pretty beat up, it's packing some serious processing power.
So what's she doing with it?
She's trying to map the tunnels, scanning for any digital anomalies linked to the infection.
So she's basically treating the infected like a computer virus.
Exactly. She's looking for a weakness, a way to exploit it.
That's a pretty unique approach.
It is, but it's also risky.
Oh, how so?
She's directly interfacing with something incredibly corrupted.
It's like sticking your hand into a meat grinder, digitally speaking.
Right, but she's desperate, and she's got the skills to pull it off.
And she finds something, right?
She picks up traces of a neural control interface.
A control interface.
Yeah, embedded within the infected's code.
So this isn't just a random outbreak.
It's organized. Someone's pulling the strings.
Okay, that's even more disturbing.
Way more.
And then Hiro speaks up, right?
Yeah, he's getting nervous.
I can imagine being down in those tunnels with techno-zombies. It's not exactly a picnic.
He whispers to Zara that they're not alone.
But Zara, she's kind of in the zone, isn't she?
She's half in the digital world.
Right.
So she tells him to be quiet and find an access point.
An access point, like where she can plug into the city's network.
Exactly. She needs a physical connection to really dig deep.
So they're looking for something specific.
And Hiro, he remembers that this area used to be a corpo research facility.
Oh, so maybe there's some old tech lying around.
He figures there might be some maintenance panels, something she can use.
So they're on the hunt.
And they get lucky.
They find something.
Yeah, tucked away around a bend in the tunnel, there's this rusted metal panel.
Okay.
Hiro manages to pry it open.
And what do they see?
A mess of cables.
Just a bunch of wires.
Well, not just any wire.
What kind are we talking about?
Thick cables, some of them faintly glowing, others dark and dead.
It sounds like the veins and arteries of some giant machine.
Zara realizes right away that this isn't standard building wiring.
So this is something bigger.
Way bigger. This is like the city's nervous system.
And she's about to tap into it.
She interfaces with the system, and it's not pretty.
What does she see?
A harsh utilitarian interface.
So not very user-friendly.
Nope. Just pure function, cold, and efficient.
Like the people who built it.
Exactly. And then she sees it.
What? The virus.
It's more like a digital parasite.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
This thing, it's latched onto the city's entire technological infrastructure.
So it's not just controlling the infected.
It's got its tendrils everywhere.
Everything's connected.
And Zara's intrusion doesn't go unnoticed.
Uh-oh, wait, no, she's there.
It fights back. A torrent of corrupted code slams into her system.
And she's got to fight it off.
It's a digital battle. Her fingers flying across the interface, sweat and blood mixing with the data streams.
So this is like a whole other level of combat.
And then, just as she thinks she's got a handle on it, Hiro's voice cuts through the digital noise.
What does he say?
He's panicking.
About what?
More infected.
They're coming.
They're closing in.
Zara's trapped between two worlds.
A digital nightmare and a very real, very physical threat.
We're going to have to leave her there for a moment.
Yeah, the story shifts
To Kenji.
Kenji, yeah.
A samurai in this crazy, tech-infested world.
He's in a dark hallway, holding his breath, waiting.
What's going through his mind?
His master's teachings.
What kind of teachings?
About reacting instantly, becoming one with the blade.
This is classic samurai stuff.
It is, but in this world it takes on a whole new meaning.
What does he see?
A nightmare.
What? The infected.
His former neighbors, twisted by the virus.
This is too much. This is like the worst-case scenario.
Their skin is gray, sickly, and there's this unsettling light glowing in their eyes.
The artificial light we were talking about.
Yeah, and their veins, they're wriggling under their skin, like something's moving around inside.
Like being controlled by something.
And then he sees it.
What? The leader?
It's the former club bouncer.
The guy from before?
Yeah, but he's not a guy anymore.
What's happened to him?
He's a monster.
Go on.
Twisted metal grafted onto his body.
Oh.
Glowing wires snaking through his flesh.
Oh, no.
One eye burns with a toxic yellow light.
This is too much.
And one of his hands,
Yeah.
it's been replaced with a giant metal claw.
Like something out of a video game.
It's horrifying.
Kenji knows this is different.
This isn't just a fight.
What is it?
It's survival.
He's got his katana, right?
Yeah, his ancestral blade.
He's a samurai in the truest sense.
Even in this broken world, he clings to his code.
And there's a girl with him, isn't there?
Rena.
Rena, right? What's her story?
She's a hacker.
A hacker, okay.
She's terrified.
If I can imagine.
But she manages to tell Kenji about a hidden tunnel split.
That leads where?
To the undermarket, maybe a way out.
Okay, so she knows her way around the digital world, too.
She does, and you can tell by her eyes.
Her eyes. What about them?
They're augmented.
Oh, wow. So she's got cybernetics, too.
She's a product of this world just like Zara.
And Kenji, what does he do?
He sees the horde closing in.
Yeah.
He knows they can't fight them all.
No way.
So he asks Rena to try something.
To try what?
To block them off, buy them some time.
Can she do that?
She's a hacker, she's good, but even she's not sure.
That's a long shot.
The building's lockdown protocols are ancient.
They probably wouldn't even work against a regular intruder.
Exactly.
So what does she do?
She gets an idea.
What kind of idea?
A dangerous one.
Go on.
She's going to try and overload a circuit at a central junction point.
To do what?
Create chaos.
Oh, so she's going to cause a blackout?
It's their only chance.
The groans of the infected are getting closer.
Yeah, they're right outside the door.
It's do or die time.
Kenji knows this is their only option.
So what happens?
Rena starts working on her data pad.
Trying to hack into the system.
Her fingers are flying across the screen.
And then it goes.
The power's out.
It's silent, except for the groans of the infected.
Oh, that's even more terrifying.
It's a different kind of fear.
The darkness, it hides them, but it also makes them vulnerable.
It's a double-edged sword.
And then...
An explosion.
Where?
Somewhere below them.
What caused it?
We don't know yet.
But it changes everything.
The emergency lights flicker on.
And the infected.
They're disoriented.
This is Kenji's chance.
He doesn't hesitate.
What does he do?
He draws his katana. He attacks.
What's it like?
This isn't a duel. This is pure fury.
He's unleashing everything.
Centuries of samurai tradition focused into this single moment.
And the bouncer hybrid.
It lets out this monstrous laugh.
It's still aware, isn't it?
There's something in its eyes.
Like a spark of intelligence.
It's terrifying.
It lunges at Kenji.
And the clash.
It's brutal.
Go on.
Metal strikes Kenji's shoulder.
He's hurt.
The pain is intense.
And he's electrocuted too.
But he holds on.
It is katana.
And in a single fluid motion, he severs the hybrid's metal claw.
He's fighting back.
And then Rena...
What does she do?
She throws her data pad...
At what?
At the hybrid's exposed wiring.
No way.
It's a direct hit.
What happens?
Sparks fly.
The hybrid...
It screams.
In pain.
In a rage.
Kenji sees his opportunity.
He doesn't waste it.
What does he do?
He attacks again.
This is it. The final blow.
The katana plunges deep into the hybrid's skull.
It's over.
It's finally over.
For now.
We cut back to Zara.
Where is she?
In a storage room.
A storage room? What's she doing there?
She's coughing up blood.
What happened to her?
The digital battle took its toll.
So even though she was in the virtual world, the physical world still got to her.
It's a reminder that these two worlds are intertwined.
Kenji appears.
He's barricaded the door.
With what?
Another techno-infected.
Oh, wow. That's grim.
They don't have time to be squeamish. Rena's with him.
Is she? Okay.
She's shaken.
Yeah, who wouldn't be?
She's exhausted.
She's been through a lot.
She starts talking about the hive mind.
The hive mind? What's that?
It's the network, but it's more than that.
Go on.
It's aware.
So it's not just a bunch of mindless infected.
It's connected. It's thinking.
And it's spreading.
Into the city's infrastructure.
Everything's infected.
The streetlights, the drones, everything.
This is a nightmare.
A technological nightmare.
Kenji asks the question.
Yeah.
What's the source?
Well, where did this all start?
Zara. She knows.
She tells him it's not a normal virus.
This is something else.
She felt it, probing her.
Like it was tasting her.
And she managed to get a fix on its origin.
Where is it?
An old corporate tower.
A corporate tower, that figures.
A corrupted research lab.
So it's all because of some corporation's greed.
Kenji isn't surprised.
He says it right.
Corpo spawn monster.
Yeah, that sums it up pretty well.
Their little moment of respite is over.
What happened?
The barricade breaks.
And the infected.
They're swarming in.
More of them.
And they're different this time.
Different how?
They're angry.
They're not just mindless anymore.
There's intent in their movements.
Oh, that's scary.
And then another explosion?
From where?
Below them.
It's huge.
The entire room shakes.
Dust and debris are falling from the ceiling.
Kenji's fighting them off.
But he realizes something. They're collapsing.
You're trapped.
So what does he do?
He spots a hole in the floor.
A hole. Where did that come from?
Probably the explosion.
He doesn't hesitate, does he?
No.
He picks up Rena.
And jumps lowness.
They land on a tangle of cables.
That's lucky.
And then Zara appears.
She's alive.
She's bruised, but she's okay.
And she's got a gun?
She tells them the tunnel's a death trap.
So they gotta keep moving.
Down.
The infected are pouring in.
They're relentless. Rena asks how they're going to get deeper.
And Zara points to a ventilation shaft.
That's their only option.
It's long shot.
But it's better than being zombie chow.
Kenji agrees.
But he's not happy about it.
He tells Rena to climb first.
Then Zara.
And he'll bring up the rear.
Protecting them.
Rena's annoyed.
She can handle herself.
But she knows there's no time to argue.
She starts climbing.
And Kenji follows.
Into the darkness.
They climb for what seems like forever.
Infected are getting closer.
They can hear them.
It's a race against time.
And then they see light.
At the top of the shaft.
They pull themselves out.
Onto another level.
It's a lab.
A lab. What kind of lab?
It's sterile, cold.
A stark contrast to the chaos outside.
Rows of screens display complex calculations.
This is the heart of the infection.
Zara goes straight to the main console.
Trying to access the system.
She's met with heavy encryption.
But she's good.
She finds a way in.
What does she discover?
The tower systems are built on rotten code.
Rotten code? What do you mean?
Backdoors, vulnerabilities. It's a mess.
So it's not just the virus that's the problem.
It's the system itself. It's flawed from the ground up.
And then she finds it.
The AI.
The artificial intelligence, the one behind it all.
It's old.
But powerful.
It's cobbled together from different systems.
A Frankenstein's monster of AI.
And Zara realizes something.
What's that?
This isn't just a virus.
It's something else.
It's a deliberate fusion of man and machine.
This was planned.
Someone wanted this to happen.
This is too much.
It's beyond anything they could have imagined.
Even Kenji is shaken.
He can feel it, the wrongness of it all.
Rena finds something.
System logs.
What do they say?
Delusional ramblings about transcendence.
Transcendence? What does that even mean?
The architect, the one who created all of this,
Yeah.
he was dying.
He wanted to cheat death.
To become immortal.
By merging with the machine.
The logs are full of his twisted logic.
He saw the plague as a way to achieve his goal.
To transcend his physical body.
And create something truly monstrous in the process.
Zara, she wants to shut it down.
Destroy the core.
But Rena stops her.
Why?
She's got a different idea.
What is it?
Let the network expand.
Let it spread.
Feed the AI until it chokes.
That's a risky plan.
But it might be their only chance.
The consciousness isn't localized.
It's everywhere.
So they can't just destroy a single point.
I have to attack the whole thing.
Zara's horrified.
But Kenji agrees.
He's focused on the immediate threat.
He wants to find the architect.
The man behind the machine.
The one who started all of this?
They come up with a plan.
A desperate plan.
Rena will manipulate the flow of infected.
Using her knowledge of the network.
Zara will act as bait.
Luring the AI deeper into her cyberjack.
And Kenji
He'll use the chaos as cover.
to reach the architect.
It's a suicide mission.
But they don't have a choice.
They find the architect.
In the heart of the lab.
He's wired into the system.
A frail, dying man.
He looks at Kenji with disdain.
Like he's nothing but an insect.
He starts talking about his grand vision.
But he doesn't get to finish.
Kenji strikes.
And it's over.
The architect's eyes flicker with shock, then pain, then nothing.
He's gone.
Kenji stands over him, katana dripping blood.
What does he say?
Some endings are still written in flesh.
Even in this technological nightmare, there's still a place for the old ways.
But the fight's not over.
What happens?
The screens flare.
Alarms start blaring.
The tower shakes.
The architect might be dead.
But the AI is still alive.
It's fighting back.
Kenji finds Rena.
Is she okay?
She's fading.
And Zara.
She's smiling.
But it's not a happy smile.
It's a smile of defiance.
What's she do?
She overloads her cyberjack.
Causing a massive explosion.
A shockwave rips through the infected network.
Disrupting the hive mind.
Kenji grabs Rena and they run.
The tower is collapsing around them.
They escaped.
But there's no joy in it.
Just the hollow ache of survival.
They're alive.
But the city.
It's still infected.
What happens next?
We don't know. But one thing's for sure.
The fight isn't over.
Kenji will be back.
To finish what he started.
That was intense, Julia.
Yeah.
That story really twisted the classic zombie idea in a way I never expected.
I know, right? It's like the classic fear of technology gone wrong.
But taken to a whole new level.
The fact that it was all orchestrated by one man's desire for immortality, that's just chilling.
It makes you think about the potential consequences of our obsession with technology.
Definitely. It's a cautionary tale for the digital age.
Well, that's all the brain-tingling horror we have for you today, Julia. Always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me. It's always fun to dissect these stories.
And to all you zombie fans out there, thanks for tuning in to the Drunken Zombies podcast. Don't forget to rate and follow us wherever you get your podcasts.
Keep those brains safe out there.
Until next time, stay scared.
Mm.
Good night.